A year ago this week during the Memorial Tournament, I was encouraging people to go out on with the hashtag of Smart Columbus and encourage the Smart Cities Challenge to look at Columbus. We were in the top 7 at that time, and I encourage people at the Memorial Tournament to do a big push, because it's important for all of us as different companies to collaborate with each other, and we need to let people know that we're working together. And so all of this has happened in 1 year. My point about that is, imagine what can happen in another 12 months. This stuff is moving very, very fast. The technology is becoming less expensive. The expertise is becoming more widespread. And so we have the capacity, if we do things the way we're doing them in Dublin, to work together and do big things. And I think all of us win when the energy level in the economy is working this way. This is a good way of showing the essence of the 33 Smart Mobility Corridor. This is where we are in Dublin right now. The Transportation Research Center is in East Liberty, Ohio. It's just past where Honda is in the Marysville area. So the Smart Mobility Corridor is a US DOT grant that we applied for. When you say mobility, that's more than just driving. It's moving things and people. We're focused on the 33 corridor because it's an opportunity for us to have somewhat of an isolated area where we can do testing. The vehicles, you can see some of the signals inside trucks and inside vehicles, are capable of communicating with those roadside units. However, another big part of this is the dedicated short-range communications inside the vehicles can talk to the dedicated short-range communications inside other vehicles. So each of these devices can talk to each other. And many of the applications are just vehicle to vehicle. This technology is what allows trucks to talk to each other, or buses or large vehicles, such that they could platoon. So if you put 2 of them next to each other or more of them, you can platoon those trucks and they can be at precisely the same speed. This requires an extraordinarily low latency network. This can't have 2 microseconds of delay or anything like that, because this is braking. It is speed coordination. It is trucks behind each other. As such, this requires a fiber network up and down the corridor. And that's one of the things our grant allowed us to do. Columbus did this for all of us. All of the suburbs, rural areas, the inner city. There are so many aspects of Smart Columbus that benefit all of us, and we all need to contribute to it as well. That means electrification of vehicles. That means deployment of various technologies that are to the benefit of Smart Columbus. And we are a part of that. Vehicles can share data with each other. That's a deep oversimplification, but that data allows coordination of operations. And that's the key thing here, that one vehicle and another vehicle can know what each other are doing, such that they don't hit each other, such that they know each other's speeds. And you can imagine, some of you who work in technology, the potential applications there for coordinating between people. The bottom line is that human beings and vehicles, we weren't designed very well to move large hunks of steel filled with flammable liquids around each other. It's not working out too good, and we need some technology that's going to allow us to coordinate a little bit better. And so we think that this technology is the way to go. Now the road is going to be a data stream. It's going to be security. It's going to be a lot of technology in the vehicle and by the road that's going to allow movement on that road. That's what connected vehicles really is about. When we can do connected vehicles, autonomous vehicles is going to be a lot easier. But first we have to connect everything. The infrastructure can sense conditions for decision making, weather conditions, traffic conditions, accidents, Amber Alerts. We now have infrastructure that can sense and measure those things. Being able to dynamically change speeds is a bigger problem than you would imagine, and safety on the road is extraordinarily important around schools in particular. So when we have the data and we have an analysis of the data, we can make decisions about that data. If I can change the route over here or change the speed around that school, I shouldn't have to do that anymore. And when that's automated, now we have achieved smart. So I won't try to define smart city for you, but let's all follow that path and say, when you have sensors and those sensors give you data and you can make decisions about that data and those decisions can be automated, you've created something smart. And that smart thing might be whatever it is, but that then could scale across an entire city or community. I have some benefits here to the connected vehicles, and these are benefits also for autonomous vehicles as well. Reduce traffic-related fatalities and injuries. Many of you have heard of us talking about our roundabouts. A lot of people hate roundabouts. They say there sure are an awful lot of accidents, but they're not fatal accidents. And what we have with signalized intersections are people driving this way to each other. If everyone drove this way, then our accidents look like this, and people don't die. And we are going to reduce fatalities so much with much of this technology and rethinking how we drive and how we move. Reduce traffic congestion and improve travel time, reliability. I know for a fact that if I would just drive 50 miles an hour where it says to drive 50 miles an hour, life would be better for all of us. So I need to give it over to a machine, I really do. Reduce transportation-related emissions. We in Dublin, Marysville, and Union County are not working specifically on electrification of vehicles, but that is a part of Smart Columbus, and we can bring more electric vehicles into the driving fleet. Optimize multimodal system performance. A person doesn't necessarily have to leave their front door and get into a car where they drive alone to where they're going. They may be able to bike some of it, they may be able to walk some of it, trains, buses, and also driving. But we need data in order for the larger community to be able to route themselves in that way. Improved access to transportation alternatives, including underserved population, public access to real-time integrated traffic, transit, and multimodal transportation information. If we have this information, we don't have the means to share it with the public who have to make decisions about it, then we haven't necessarily done something great. Where the Transportation Research Center is, there's a huge track there where a lot of testing will happen with connected vehicles and autonomous vehicles. You're going to leave that track and you're going to go onto the 33 corridor. And on 33, we have an open road where people who are not having autonomous vehicles will be driving next to people who will. And you have an opportunity to test how this works in a very, very real world situation. After you get off of the 33 corridor, you're going to go into a local community. You're going to go off into Marysville or you're going to go off into Dublin. And this is the Dublin plan, which not a lot of people know, so you're seeing it here first. The Dublin plan is we're going to get off of 33 at the 33-270 interchange, and we're going to continue with those same dedicated short-range communications roadside units within the local community. And we have selected this route as our first route in the Dublin area because, first of all, it's coming off of 33. Second of all, we have 10 signalized intersections here. We have a school along this route. We have a library along this route. We have a historic district along this route. We have the big roundabout in the Bridge Street district, which is a densification kind of a plan here. Having some smart mobility at a roundabout is valuable for us to contribute to the rest of the world. And we're going to go all the way down to Sawmill Road. We believe that this forms a total picture. When you look at other test tracks around the world, they have the enclosed test track, or they have local DSRC types of technology, or they have a corridor that's kind of an enclosed thing, but they don't have all of them. And that's what we're trying to produce here. Data management is obviously a big thing. We see with Cresttek's graphic, this is the state of the art. This is what needs to happen. And so when we talk about analytics and data and information and infrastructure, data management is a big deal. Much of the data that's going to go through here when we talk about a data exchange is proprietary. Some of it should be open. This is a real challenge, and cities have been struggling with this. R&D should be proprietary. However, there's parts of it which may be shared. We believe that the only way that this is going to be managed effectively is with some sort of artificial intelligence. And there are a lot of opportunities to put AI into this. Humans will not be able to manage this much data. AI is going to be necessary. Also, we have enormous policy implications. Two people hit each other. Person is late for their appointment when they were assured by their app that they were going to get there on time. Who are we going to sue? How are we going to ensure this? What is a community's responsibility? Which lanes can we work with? What happens when the battery goes dead? There are huge amounts of implications here that have to be thought through, which is why I believe this is one of the most exciting fields fields to be working in right now. So we believe we've created an innovation ecosystem. You are all a part of it. And I've got a very good feeling that this is the right mix of companies, public sector, entrepreneurs, innovators, students, citizen coders, all sorts of people need to come in and jump into the deep end of the pool, and we need to make something spectacular. This technology is competitive. And one of the situations that we have is, how do you say, okay, it's going to be this one? It's very difficult unless somebody plants a flag and says, we will be a testing area. So we're going to test the cell network, we're going to test dedicated short-range communications. We want to be the place where the technology gets proven. So this is a proving ground. The fiber network that we are putting in place is a redundant network, and the state of Ohio, through ODOT, stepped up and said, we will fund the fiber, and we will have construction complete by end of August. That will be a lit network. We're also building a redundant local loop of the fiber so that if there's a fiber cut or anything like that, we have a redundant loop. DSRC technology inside the vehicles, we are likely to have that by the end of calendar 2017. That's what the federal grant is for, to purchase that equipment. We have committed our public fleets to deploying that technology inside them, so that even if there were no other cars doing it, City of Dublin police cars, fire engines, school buses will have this technology in it so that we can manage it on our route. We want interoperability. We want people to come down 33 and get onto 270 and be functioning and have one system. The City of Columbus and Smart Columbus have invited Marysville and Dublin to sit on the IDE work group. So there are 4 or 5 big initiatives. It would be very difficult for us to attempt to do anything proprietary or just local. I appreciate everyone's time.